Welcome all ye who enter. This is DC On Screen, episode 420. I'm your host, David C. Roberson. This is my co-host, Jason Goss.
Hello.
And, we're back. And, it's been kind of a hell of a week.
Yeah.
In some regards.
Yeah.
Man, there hasn't been a lot on news, except that I tried a new shampoo and had like a really terrible, allergic reaction to it. And I looked like Deadpool for a couple of days.
You really, it was about that bad. You looked like, I could pretty much say like victim of and insert here.
Right.
It was not your best look, man.
No, it wasn't. And that's
like,
there are a lot of bad looks that I've had.
You know, like one of the sillier Ben Stiller movies, like that's like a prom movie, and the main character, that's what he ended up looking like the night before, or like he wakes up the day of prom looking like that.
Yep, it does sound like a Ben Stiller movie.
A little bit.
Gosh, he's a hack.
He's got his good sides. I've come to decide he's got his good sides, but some of those movies.
Have you? Oh wow, something's happened. I don't recognize this Jason.
I know. I have been very down on him before, but I have decided, and some people will probably agree with me or shout at me when I say this, but I decided I should watch the Ben Stiller show before I come to any more conclusions about him.
Oh yeah, did you come to that conclusion because you realized that Bob Odenkirk and David Cross were sort of working on that show? Among
many others, yeah. I've finally got a glimpse at that writer's room and thought, oh man, if he had the wherewithal to tie all those people together, I should probably give this guy another chance.
I mean, there's some stuff that I've liked that Ben Stiller has done, but nothing as great as his dad. I mean,
sure.
Or his mom.
Yeah,
his mom and dad are freaking brilliant people.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no doubt.
Some people not completely familiar with comedy may not know that Jerry Stiller is his dad, the guy that was the old guy on King of Queens, and George Costanza's father on Seinfeld.
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
He's an accomplished player of Jewish old guy. It's very few people have done it as well as Jerry Stiller.
Anyway, yep. How was your week, man? You okay? You doing all right?
Yeah, doing well. I won't bore anyone with the details, but changing jobs here in the next couple weeks, so yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Big change.
Exciting. And even if it's something you're looking forward to, it still qualifies as I can't forget. I forget exactly where, but they have stress tests that are basically questionnaires about have you changed your address in the last X months, or have you been party to a divorce, or have you had a kid, or it's just basic stuff. But there's like a score for each of them, and somewhere in there, changing jobs, even when you're excited about it, is I think in the top 10.
Wow.
So I'm nervous, but
By the way, I like that phraseology. Have you been party to a divorce? I like the idea that there's like a party, like after the divorce.
Yeah. There's a set of constituents upon which this divorce rests.
Like, yes, I was party to a divorce. All right, who were you? Were the worst man?
I was the clown.
The secret reason for the divorce?
Yeah. Which part did you play? Oh, I'm the failed family counselor. Oh. Great work.
Also slept with the wife. Wait, that 17 people have made that claim on the test tonight.
Yeah.
All right, I think we might see some of the reasons behind this divorce.
Yeah.
Oof.
13 said it about the husband. I think I see where this is going.
Oh man! All right, so yeah, we got some, we have some news and stuff. By the way, we'll get to it a little later, but this is our second episode in the all new, all different format. We've had a lot of really nice feedback. A lot of people who were standing up for us and supporting us. So
yeah,
thank you guys. We'll get into some of that feedback later.
I can't really explain how appreciative we've been about that.
Absolutely. My brother-in-law Spencer, I was talking to him earlier, and he said, so it must be like a vacation for you now. I mean, you're a couple of weeks in now to this new format, and are you feeling any less stressed? And I was like, nope,
Not at all.
like I've still got the old phantom stress.
Yeah. No, we're still kind of yeah. I don't know where changing podcast format goes on the stress test, but it's for us has been very high.
Yeah, it's like I see a tab and I'm like, whoa, no.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Oh my gosh. I see a browser, and instead of a browser, I see like I don't know, like a guy in Vietnam holding a gun on me or something while I'm hanging from bamboo.
Yeah.
It becomes like a scene out of Rambo 2.
Maybe a slight exaggeration, but the bottom line is we were getting overworked.
No, I just thought that was funny imagery. So yeah, this week has been really news, and that's pretty evident in what's been going on. I don't know how much of this you've seen.
Right.
But much ado has been made out of a lot of bullshit, honestly. One thing Ben Affleck was talking about the two directors, the two unique visions of Justice League, and a lot of people have kind of jumped on that bandwagon and like, oh no, he's saying there's a problem. But Affleck said, what he said was, it's a little bit unorthodox. Zack had a family tragedy and stepped off, which was horrible. For the movie, the best person we could have possibly found was Joss. We got really lucky that he stepped in. He says Justice League is an interesting product of two directors, both with kind of unique visions, both with really strong takes. I've never had that experience before making a movie. I have to say, I really love working with Zack, and I really love the stuff we've done with Joss. He also reiterated, I've never worked on a movie that didn't do reshoots. Argo, we did reshoots for a week and a half, 4 days on Gone Baby Gone. This is a really nice time to work in DC. They're hitting their stride. They're getting it right. It's starting to feel like it's really working. I'm not going to fall in the camp who says, like, he's just saying that, it's been a little unorthodox and that's all he's saying. It does sound like he's saying Joss is changing some things. It just does. I'm not saying, it's going to be for the worse or that they're going to completely upend anything that Zack did, but it feels like there's going to be some tone differences, for sure.
Yeah.
But, there was a lot of, like Joe Morton, the guy that's playing Cyborg's father in the movie, had said that they asked him if there was a difference in tone because he's been a part of some of the reshoots with Joss, and he says, well, the stuff that I had to do were just really small bits and pieces, nothing necessarily having to do with tone. I know that with Ray, the young man who plays Victor, there were some adjustments that they made in terms of the tone of that character. And based on the trailer, I think I can see why that would need to be done. But he says, I think what I heard was that there was a need from the studio to lighten up the film in a way, that the film felt too dark. I don't know what that meant in terms of how it actually got translated in terms of the reshoots, but that's what I heard. That's what I thought some of the reshoots were about. So he doesn't really know. And they're also kind of citing this stuff that just came up. This Scaretta guy from Slash Film said he just had this whole. I didn't even write all that down, but he wrote a report saying that Joss Whedon was doing away with the cliffhanger ending. Dude, there hasn't been a cliffhanger ending on Justice League for 2 years.
Yeah.
Do you remember, like 2 years ago when we reported that they were not doing Justice League 2 as part 2? I mean,
I've always assumed they had somewhere else they wanted to pick up the story, but I wonder if what they mean though is that whereas Marvel has stingers that are basically cliffhangers, and DC has pretty much said we're not going to do stingers. We're going to get into the movies, into the movie, go home. Yeah. I wonder if what they mean is they're not going to give you those last few seconds within the movie itself and call it a cliffhanger. If they're just going to, because you got to admit, Marvel gets to cheat a little bit on that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the cheating is there for the taking.
Yeah, it's what I would call a fair cheat.
Mm-hmm.
It works perfectly fine. You still get your good whole movie that serves all of its purposes. It stands alone just fine, and then you can throw in this little bit after the credits that, usually it kind of shakes parts of the universe, the MCU, up a little bit.
Yeah.
They're definitely having their cake and eating it too over there.
Mm-hmm.
Which is it's a well-designed system.
Yeah, I think the Scaretta stuff from Slash Film is absolute horse crap. I don't think that there hasn't been a cliffhanger on this thing for a long time. This dude is just out of his mind.
Yeah.
Joe Morton.
If anything, I just think he's maybe that's what I was trying to get across. I think he's maybe overusing the term cliffhanger. Like maybe there's something that leads into another one of the films in the universe, and they decided maybe we don't need the lead in.
Yeah. No, I mean
But I doubt it's like, you doubt it's like a profile shot of Darkseid standing there at the very end or something.
It better be. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see a reason for them to not set it up for another movie, but I mean, this we've known for a long time, for a really long time. Mark Hughes wrote a piece about all the stuff they saw, and where like Deborah and Zack Snyder both said, "Oh yeah, we're not doing a cliffhanger anymore. It's going to be just the one movie," and that was 2 years ago. So for this guy to come in and say like Joss Whedon's changing the ending from Zack Snyder's Cliffhanger Ending to, I mean, that's not happening. Come on, that's just not happening. I wouldn't doubt if it did seem a little. I mean, that if they, I wouldn't doubt that they are changing the tone though. They've been in the middle of changing the tone since BVS kind of.
Yeah, I mean, since the critical response to
tanked
BVS,
critically,
yeah. And it's not so much the box office response. It made its money. Not as much as it could have made. But, I mean, they probably shorted themselves, at least a good 150 million?
Maybe.
Just by making the movie... They could have made a longer but better movie that had more legs. Instead, they made a shorter movie that made more money up front and then fell off drastically.
I do wonder if they had put out the original version, how much it really would have affected it, because quite honestly, before the movie ever came out, before the runtime was released, we were reading tons of negative crap online about BVS. Like, there were people who were set out to hate that movie no matter what, and most of them were critics.
Yeah. I mean, there was a large amount of people that just read the title BVS and thought, nope, those guys are besties, I'm not in. And the movie had enough. Frankly, the movie had enough holes in it when the theatrical release had enough holes that you weren't buying back a lot of those people with that release.
Yeah,
I mean, the Ultimate Edition really might have, but it might have had that opportunity for like people that just watched like a nearly 3-hour movie wanting to come back the next week and go, okay, how do I really feel about this?
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of people on Twitter who were like, "I'm sorry, Zack Snyder, I just saw the Ultimate Edition," but there was
a little bit of a. I would have liked your version kind of movement.
But if you didn't like Jesse Eisenberg as Luthor, you're not this not saving anything for you. Like, you're just going to be sitting there pissed, going like, "Oh, like Riddler Luthor." So, I don't know, man. I wonder how much it actually would have helped, especially when you factor in the extra screen that it didn't get, or that it wouldn't get if it was fully there.
Yeah.
Did you check out that concept art I sent you?
No, I didn't get a chance to. I'm sorry.
That's fair. I was on the fence about whether or not I was pretty on the fence about whether or not I wanted to even talk about it, but it's pretty cool concept art of the Flying Fox, and they have like the little round table where the Justice League sit, and that's pretty awesome. But it's old stuff. It's really just now getting around in like high def as far as I can tell, but Affleck talked a little bit about it and was like likened it to like the Magnificent Seven, him being a loner and letting them in and do the Flying Fox and everything. And there's been a lot of stuff online about like the Flying Fox looking like the TAS Batmobile or something, and I can see those elements to it. I look forward to seeing it on the big screen.
It'd be a cool callback. It'd be a nice homage,
Yeah, the designer was like, I don't know. It felt like a Simpsons line. So he was like, "You could put 3 Batmobiles in the lower part." I'm like, but why would you?
Right.
Anyway, all right. So at this juncture in the show here, I'd like to point out that we're having some sort of strange technical difficulty. So Jason's having a hard time hearing me, essentially. So I don't know. we're gonna work with it. We'll see.
Maybe it's a good thing. We don't know yet.
Yeah. Did you hear that Wonder Woman got 400 point? They passed 400.5 million, which means they've beaten Frozen domestically.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
I tried to watch Frozen and it was bad. I mean, I'm sure it's fine for a lot of people, but for me, it was a very bad experience. I mean, there was a point where I was just laying on the floor, staring at the ceiling, hoping it was over, and we were at about the halfway point in the movie.
Yeah, you were trying to let it go, huh?
I tried so desperately to let it go, but it wouldn't let me let it go.
Yeah,
I was miserable. Just not a movie for me, man. I'm not the demographic. It's fine.
No,
I've got a poor, Michael Shackelford. He's got a 3-year-old daughter now. Was it 2? When they were really watching that over and over again, and he said he called me once, and with just it was like that robotic tone of voice where there was just kind of nothing left in him when he said this. But it was I've seen it so many times, Jason. Like he was like a beaten man. Felt terrible for him.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure my sister and my brother-in-law feel that way about the Cars movies.
Yeah.
It's like we've had enough Mater.
There's always a movie on your if I never see that again, I might live a happy life kind of list if you have a kid.
Oh man, I think I made it worse by I bought my nephew Godzilla versus Space Godzilla or something.
Oh, yeah.
And Spencer was like, there's so many scenes of just Japanese people sitting with big helmets.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. That's what I remember the most about and I laughed so much when people got onto the new Godzilla movie because there's no Godzilla in it. It was just like 45 seconds of Godzilla and the whole thing was over. And I was like, do you remember the old movies?
Right.
They're an hour 10. There's basically an hour and some change of a bunch of people running around, staring at equipment and yelling at each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then for 10 minutes, some dude wrecks a cardboard set and maybe fights another person in another foam suit, depending on the movie you're watching.
Uh-huh.
And it's 10 minutes if you're lucky. It's really like a 3.5 minute scene.
Yeah, but that's way more interesting than the new one.
I just didn't. I wasn't willing to give them the time part of it.
Were still like, those were particularly actiony action verbs that you were spouting off there.
I was giving. Okay, that's rough. That's rough.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch sitting on a train looking pensive.
Yeah,
like I don't know how to help the new Godzilla movie.
I didn't see it, but I just heard the complaints and thought I remember because I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I was talking to Dennis the other day about this. It was like I remember the early days of Comedy Central, where the entire roster was kind of like it was basically like MST3K, Kids in the Hall, old SNL footage, any stand-up they could get their hands on, and whatever bad movie they could get the rights to for as long as possible. So you could pop on there and watch like 4 Godzilla movies in an afternoon, and they'd condense them down to like an hour, and you didn't feel like you missed much, Like, did I miss a few scenes where somebody went and talked to somebody else with, I don't know what you call, I don't know what the proper term is for the things that go over someone's chest when they're in certain parts of the army.
Vest?
I don't know. I really don't. I feel like I should know that.
Okay.
I feel like it's one of those things I should just know.
Have you seen the new Mystery Science Theater on Netflix?
Yeah, a couple of them. It's one of those where I forget they're there, and then I remember and go, ooh, and come back and have a great 45 minutes before I go to sleep, and then forget about it again. And next month I finish that episode.
Sure.
They're doing a good thing there.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. My girlfriend has some of it. She seems pretty happy with it. She just started Doctor Who, though, so,
Yeah. That's a journey.
It is. She's on, like, episode 6, like, right now, with the Dalek chained up, being afraid of the Doctor in that little museum.
The Eccleston Doctor?
Yeah.
She's got a long, wonderful ride ahead of her.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so they did actually come out and say that August 29th was digital for the Wonder Woman release on home digital, whatever they're saying, iTunes, Vudu, Amazon, what have you, and September 19th on the Blu-ray. That includes DVD as well, and the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray. Now they've made a point. Numerous people have made a point that Patty Jenkins isn't getting a commentary track like Zack Snyder did for Man of Steel. I don't know why that matters, but
I can go ahead and tell you, I haven't looked at a single piece of commentary on that piece of commentary, or the lack of commentary.
I haven't either.
But I'll bet you one of the most popular jokes right now is, she doesn't need to apologize for hers. I'm willing to bet that's the go-to line.
Yeah. Well, there are a ton of the special features, which, by the way, a lot more special features than I remember seeing on the Man of Steel Blu-ray. A director's vision, Themyscira, The Hidden Island, a director's vision, Beach Battle. It looks like they're just doing, commentary in a better way, in the form of little vignettes and making ofs, which I'm fine with. I don't really care. Like, I don't need to watch the movie again. Like, a lot of times you'll see the commentary and it's just like long stretches of people not talking and being like, "Oh yeah, that person, that's the daughter of our hairdresser." Like, okay,
yeah. No, some of them can be just thoroughly uninteresting, and like the long stretches, like you're talking about. Sometimes you'll watch the director's commentary, and even for a movie you really like, and you'll get in there, and then somebody will start talking, and they'll lower the volume, and then somebody says something almost deliberately boring. And you just feel invaded. Like, come on, I was watching this. Mm-hmm. The worst of them. I'm not by any stretch saying this is the regular, but the worst of them can feel like someone sitting in a room ruining this movie for you.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, there seems to be a lot of stuff here on the just your standard stuff like Warriors of Wonder Woman witness the creation of the Amazon army.
Sure. There's always going to be some special effects stuff, some. Yeah, character biopics, and
they have some extended scenes, not necessarily deleted scenes, but extended scenes, and they have a blooper reel, which are always fun. Well, not always. Sometimes they are.
But
I'd
give it off at least.
I'll see. Yeah, I mean it's coming. I'll let you know.
Mm-hmm.
If it's worth watching. The most important thing for me on this is that they did an epilogue called Etta's Mission. And the synopsis is Etta Candy gets the boys back together for a secret mission that could impact humanity's future. I don't know if I would assume they had already shot this, but like Lucy Davis said, learning new Etta lines while on holiday this week. She tweeted that out, and being that the Blu-ray is like a month away, a lot of people are saying the epilogue is not what she's learning lines for. I don't know.
Yeah, in theory, they're already printing that.
Yeah, in theory. But I could totally see them, like, a month out, I could totally see them being like, no, we'll just do this real quick.
Yeah.
I mean,
and she did come across very well. She was one of the... Mm-hmm. It was a well-received movie in general, but I don't think I heard a cross word about Lucy Davis in the entire thing.
Oh. And you know what? If DC starts doing this, like, I would love that. Like, I wish Marvel would start doing it again. Like, the little one-shots.
Oh, the one-shots? Yeah, they were good.
Yeah.
That was one of the best Coulson moments ever.
Down.
You remember, like, the robbery? And I specifically remember him, like, kicking flour at somebody and stuff like that. Like, it was great, man.
On a funny thing happened on the way to Thor's hammer?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. All that stuff was great. My favorite, I think, was Hail to the King.
Oh,
with the real Mandarin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was solid.
Going over to Aquaman, James Wan was talking to the Hollywood Reporter, and he said it's a very technically challenging shoot to be on. Working with water, and even the dry for wet sequences are very complex. Our equivalent of two people sitting around chatting in the underwater world. is super complicated. You have to think about CG with the hair and how their clothes are moving, how they're floating, what kind of rig we put them on, and all that stuff.
I like how that's being phrased to dry for wet. That's kind of the take on the old day for night.
Yeah.
And like, is he surprised that challenging? That sounds mind-blowingly challenging to me.
Yeah. And he's also talking about like how like they're trying to keep the CGI to a minimum. He says that just makes it very difficult and time-sucking and time-challenging to do all of this. So it's not an easy shoot, but hopefully it will pay off in spades down the line because he's really trying to not do CGI. Like I respect that. I love practical effects more than CGI.
Yeah, done well. They're timeless.
He also briefly discussed Dolph Lundgren playing King Nereus. He says, when I was in the process of writing this character, King Nereus, a friend of mine, director Mike Mendez, was working with Dolph Lundgren on one of his films, and Mike was just raving about how great Dolph was. And I thought, oh my god, Dolph would be great for this as well. So it kind of came about from that in a roundabout way. He says Dolph is a really strong actor. I don't think anyone gives him enough credit for how serious he actually takes his craft. He's taking it very seriously on this film. I love Dolph Lundgren. Like, I know a lot of people who like scoff when I say anything about Dolph Lundgren, and even I kind of chuckle and like, yeah, I know, but
I don't have an extensive history with him at all. But every time I've seen him, I thought, yeah, okay, good job, buddy.
Have you ever seen his Punisher?
Oh, no, I don't think I have.
In some ways, yes, it is a very bad 80s action movie.
I've definitely seen like frames of it, mostly from like cracked articles saying like movies that really could have been better. 5 movies that could have been way better or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. What's like weird is like that movie is like, it's been a really long time since I've seen his Punisher, but it's one of those things where I'm like, they didn't give him the skull shirt. They gave him like a knife with a skull in the end of it.
Yeah. And there's some weird scene where he's like nude for no reason.
Probably. That's the thing. Like everyone always like, oh, women are always just naked in movies. Well, in the 80s, the super jacked action star male was always nude for no reason. It's like. It's like every time we turn around, there's Schwarzenegger's ass. There's Lundgren down in the depths of some like steamy sweat lodge type of sewer.
Yep.
Hammering away at something or putting his guns together. But it was just one of the weird things about that Punisher movie was that they didn't allow him. I guess they thought it was too cheesy for him to have the skull shirt. And I'm like, no, that would have fit perfectly
that would have made
with this
a
ridiculous
lot of
movie.
It's weird.
Yeah, you hear people talk about guilty pleasures. I think that's one of mine.
Now I'm remembering this from at least 20 years ago. But you remember the movie? You remember Falling Down?
Yes.
Is that not kind of accidentally a great Punisher movie?
It is. You know who directed that, right?
No.
Joel Schumacher.
Oh, really? Good job. Probably it's more than 20 years for me. I probably saw that movie when I was 8 or 9. I want to say.
Yeah, something like that.
And it was one of those movies where I had to sneak out in the hallway when my parents they thought I was in bed, and I could open the door and slide. We had hardwood floors, so I could like slide across the floors very slowly, and if I had some cloth under me, and open the door very quietly and slide into the hallway and watch a movie kind of over their shoulders, like below the couch, and then slide back in when I saw the credits rolling.
Yeah, that's one of those that me and Matt Carroll of the MCU cast have watched in the last like probably 10 years. I own it on DVD. I've seen it a few times.
It's been so long. I don't even remember. Is it Kurt Russell?
No, it's Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas. Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. But every scene of that movie for a long time is just like, it's like a video game. It's like he one-ups with more weapons. It's like he just keeps finding new weapons. Like,
so we'll just rebrand the re-release of that Blu-ray or 4K format of that movie as like Punisher the video game, the movie. Starring Michael Douglas.
Yeah. I don't know. It kind of goes out on a whimper a little bit. But you know what? It's a pretty phenomenal movie as far as just having fun sitting and watching a stupid movie.
I did enjoy watching a stupid movie, and then I slinked back into my bedroom before I was found. That's how I rolled back in the day.
You know what? You should watch it again as an adult because I feel like it makes more emotional sense as an adult. Like he's just in the middle of a heat wave. He just gets out of his car and he's like, "Nope, screw this," and he goes to walking. He just abandons his car, winds up like assaulting a guy because he's charging too much for a can of Coke. You know,
that sounds right.
He's just fed up with the world around him.
You know what's crazy? As young as I was, the theme of that movie is like a guy who goes way too far because he's fed up with the minutiae of the world. And even at a young age, I was like, no, I get this. I totally.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't know the word minutia at the time. Other than that,
Sure.
I would have like circumlocated that and found another way to say it. But I think I could have pretty much told you the theme of the movie as a 8 or 9-year-old disgruntled misanthrope.
I feel like
yes, this all feels good to me. I understand this. This man makes sense.
I feel like falling down should be viewed in like a marathon viewing with probably God Bless America. Mm-hmm. If you've seen that. It's fantastic. I think it's directed by Bobcat Goldthwait, and it's like a dude finds out he's like dying of a brain tumor, so he just like decides to just start killing people that piss him off.
Oh, I have heard about that.
And it's pretty phenomenal.
I have heard about that. Yeah, Bobcat's turned into quite the little director.
Oh man, that's a good movie. If you haven't, I mean, I know you haven't seen it, but you should watch that movie. It's good. It's fun.
I'll check out my various streaming services and see what they have to offer.
Anyway, so moving along, Doug Liman was talking about why he left Justice League Dark. He says, I develop more movies than I make. There's a weed out process, and it's just that when you get to the comic book one, suddenly everybody hears about it. So the script never got to a place that was special enough for me, not for lack of trying.
Yeah, that tracks with everything I know about that process.
Yeah.
It's well put too, actually.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with that. I was good with it before. I didn't need like this big explanation. Mm-hmm. Like, hey man, you don't want to do it, don't do it. No.
I do like I do like his observation that when it's a comic book movie, suddenly everybody knows about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we have got a voicemail. We're going to get into the feedback portion of this episode of the DCEU segment, I mean. We have a voicemail from...
Did you hear that, people? Did you hear him start this episode and have to reframe it?
Yeah, phantom stress, guys.
Yeah,
phantom stress.
It's a transitional stage.
Oh, Bethany sent me a picture of a DVD of Winter's Bone with Jennifer Lawrence. She's like, should I buy this? And I was like, yes, if nothing else for the Wayne's World reference. From when it was like nominated for an Oscar and they like came back on SNL and they just kept going, Winter's Bone.
Wow.
Anyway, I don't know why that reminded me of that, but anyway. We've got a voicemail from Brooklyn Batman. Let's cut to that now.
Hey guys, this is Anthony, aka Brooklyn Batman on Twitter. Just keep up the good work. Do whatever you guys want to do. Just listening to you guys talk is worth it alone. The only way I won't listen if it's a whole podcast of the Widow Woman. Other than that, I'm all in, no matter what you guys decide to do. So just keep up the good work. Keep talking DC, and take care.
All right, Brooklyn Batman, dude. Thank you so much for the nice words. I don't fathom there's going to be a the podcast is going to become just a Witter Woman podcast.
No. We were joking last week about maybe having to come up with some sort of set of policies to incorporate Witter Woman, but I've been toying with it. Yeah, just a little mental exercise. I'll let you know if the time comes. I've been toying with it. Well,
we have another Witter Woman voicemail today.
I know, but Yeah, dude.
We'll get to that later, though.
Like so many other people, and there were actually way more people than we'd ever hoped for that came out and supported that change. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're still going to try to do a good show. We're just going to try a different format.
Yeah. Travis Hines over on Twitter says, "Hey guys, just want to say thanks for the podcast. Enjoy hearing you talk about everything and anything. We come for your thoughts and banter. Keep up the great work whenever you produce episodes. I sometimes get caught thinking I'm there shooting the DC breeze with you guys." Al Grandin on Twitter says, "Looking forward to the change. I'm glad you guys are addressing the rigors of producing a free podcast instead of letting it die." Rick Story, Old Man Rick 68 over on Twitter says, "Love what you guys do no matter how you do it and appreciate the many hours you spend for our entertainment. Hashtag kiss and make up. Hashtag all in." Well, we no reason for a kiss, but yeah, we made up.
We didn't get. We're modern men. I mean, if that's what it required,
Yeah,
I suppose we could get past it. But we managed without it.
I mean, I think I'd need a court order, but yeah, okay.
We managed to use our words.
Right. Yoda Hugh over on Twitter says, listening to your latest episode. Sorry to hear the episode casts are gone, but I want you guys to be good. More. Do what you need to do. I'll still listen. Mill Geek over on Twitter says, "Love the format, guys. Love the way you break it down. Loved all the episodes, but sometimes was overwhelming to listen to." Well, it was overwhelming to make. Randy on Twitter, "Hey guys, I support your changes. There's no point if we're not having fun." Superhero Ethics, "First, good for you for doing self-care. So needed. Second, crossovers. I'd love to have you on as a guest or do joint episode." Yep,
that's happening. We're
yep.
finally going to be able to work out the details, but we're going to get with you guys, and that's happening.
Absolutely,
no doubt about it.
Nerdy-tastic, y'all got to do what's best for you. This is something that's got to be fun, not a stressed out obligation. Absolutely. Brooklyn Batman, again, you guys are awesome. I'll be listening no matter what. I was just thinking it as you said it. Just two guys talking DC is a great podcast. Brent Clark over. Actually, I was about to say the DC TV Squadcast, but they've officially changed that to Fans Without Borders.
Nice.
So that was like their little podcast that they were doing in between the news season, and now they've just changed it. This DC TV Squadcast isn't coming back. It's just Fans Without Borders.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. But he says, "Sounds like positive changes on your show. Hope so." Yeah. Nathan at Wobbly
don't get
Boots
us wrong
on Twitter.
We're losing sleep worrying that this is not a positive change. But we're really hoping, and we're going to commit to it.
Yeah. Wobbly Boots 85 says, "Love you fellas. No need to overwork yourself like that. This is supposed to be fun. Do what you can when you can, guys. Thank you." Dr. Steve over on Facebook, "Finally heard this week's episode. If you were getting paid mad money, it'd still be difficult to keep up. It's easier to imagine the two of you jerking each other off than imagine you arguing." Nope, easier to imagine us arguing. Just because that has at least happened.
At least there was a precedent.
Yeah, we're cool with whatever you do. Keep it simple. Take a load off your stress. Your pal Steve. By the way, did he ever actually figure out what he was doing with Batman the Animated Series?
Yeah, no, he has currently started Batman the
couldn't...
Animated Series, and
oh, excellent.
Yeah, I think he's just gonna. It is a little convoluted, the way they release some episodes, the way they label them. It's gotten a little strange. So you kind of have to go back to like production schedules almost to find like which episode you should watch at a time. And I was trying to tell him like there are long stretches where it's so episodic that it doesn't matter. You can watch 15 of these things at any given time, and it's just, here's the episode, take it or leave it. And then every now and then you'll run across something, especially when it gets into later stuff. You'll run into something where, no, seriously, you need to have watched this first.
Yeah.
But
you were telling me about some conversation you guys were having, and I couldn't find it for the life of me. I just could not find that conversation anywhere.
I ended up suggesting he resort to the almighty IMDb for episode listings, because I think they have theirs accurately listed. Now, the other thing is that you need, once you get past, when did Superman start? Was it like season 3, I want
Uh,
to say.
well,
Of
no.
BTAS?
BTAS, they had like their 3 seasons over on Fox, and I say seasons, but they put them into volumes. We'll say seasons for
Yeah, they even rebranded it into volumes.
brevity's
It's
sake,
been
but
weird.
yeah.
And on Fox, this has always been the case. The Futurama writers are the ones who used this term the first time. I'm stealing it. But episodes escape from Fox. They're not released. That's how Fox works. Like they sit there on the edge of their seat, worried about everything they put out until they don't put it out, and then you wonder how they even had a roster to begin with, because you know, it's they're a train wreck sometimes, man.
Yeah. So anyway, good on you, Steve, for starting Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, you're gonna love it, dude.
I think you will.
You're gonna love it. I guaranteed him that he will cry, and I stand by that guarantee.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't name episodes because I didn't want to lead him into it, but yeah.
Yeah. Oddly enough, the first thing I think of is Baby Doll. Like, I didn't mean to. Like,
there are bad aspects,
one of the
and kind of
weird.
Well,
that was one of the dumbest. That was one of the dumbest episodes. That was one of the episodes I just hated. Except at the end, it did make me cry. Mm-hmm. It just did. Josh McKay over on Facebook said, I just listened to your guys' episode and I absolutely support whatever y'all do. I definitely understand how much of a task it is to do this podcast. It's a lot of work. So I'll always follow you boys, and whatever you do, you're pretty cool people, and keep up the awesome content. Thank you, man.
Absolutely, thanks.
Brooklyn Batman sent us an interesting bit here. He says, I'm so going to get this app before I go see Justice League. And it is an app that, and I'll send you a link for it. I can't remember. I bet I can, well, it's not letting me link to it from my little thing here.
No.
But it's an app that tells you all the places in the movie where nothing is going to happen, so you can go pee.
Well, that's new.
Yeah, and I looked into it, and there's like, it actually does. It says, okay, it gives you dialogue for you to mark your time. Like when you hear so and so say this, you're like, okay, I can go pee, because nothing's gonna happen for the next 4 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. It says, let's see. Oh man, is this it? Yeah, the app is called Run Pee.
That sounds right. Well, how many times have you, and this is probably where they got it, how many times have you left a seat as quickly as you could manage and said, I'm going to run pee?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Almost running the words together. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's runpee.com. And, they totally tell you where in the movie you can go pee. They give you time markers with dialogue.
So you know where...
To let you know when you can run.
You hit the markers. This brings up a good point. And it wouldn't be difficult to do, I think, at all. For theaters to have sign-on Wi-Fi, where you install somebody's going to point out that this is either a bad idea or that it's not as straightforward as I think it is, but I'm going to go with it. Let's see what happens. So what if every time you bought a ticket, and you have a paper ticket in your hand, you've got stubs, right? There's a unique ID on it. And with that, you can sign into the Wi-Fi for the theater. Physically where you're at, not outside of it. It has to be limited.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
And
I see where you're going with this.
For that purpose, yeah, you could sign in, and it would give you immediate access to the film that you're watching. You're going to the bathroom, you got to pee, no big deal. Take your phone, plug in the Regal app, sign in with your ticket stub. Head down the aisle, go pee. You're watching it on your phone. The worst case scenario, you bump into somebody else that's watching it on their phone.
Yeah, I can see it. I don't think they'll do it, but
it sounds workable to me.
Yeah, I think it should be a thing. Absolutely, I like it.
I have and definitely can pee and watch something at the same time. This is time tested.
Time tested, Jason approved.
Yeah, I do wash my hands afterward. I understand, even in light of my insistence that I wash myself, that if you don't want to borrow my phone, I get it. It's fine. It's okay. Phones are nasty anyway, by the way. So
yeah, they are.
Beware. But
yeah,
I wouldn't say my phone is particularly full of penis. So it's a very low bar of assurance to hand someone, isn't it?
Yeah. When you said when you said they're filthy anyway, I was about to go. Mine looks like it's been out of a rhino's ass. But then I was like, no, I don't want people to actually think that.
Yeah.
but now I'll say it because clearly it's not. It's not. It was just a joke. But
yeah.
Anyway.
They're overused devices, and people are very handsy with them. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Brooklyn Batman, thanks for letting us know about that app. That's awesome.
It is.
I might actually utilize that. And thank you guys for all the people who wrote in and gave us your support over the new format changes.
I don't want to get all emotional on you, but like some of the response that was like that feedback. We slept at night. Thank you. Mm-hmm. There was a very solid chance that we weren't going to sleep this week, and you're the reason we made it.
Well, I still didn't sleep too much, but
we both have trouble sleeping anyway, and something like this was a risk we were taking. So
well, the prednisone from my allergic reaction was keeping me awake.
That's going to be a thing.
Like hot sweats and stuff, like yeah.
Yeah.
I would occasionally wake up in a sweat and go do that. Just go.
How do you put that on the side of the bottle? May cause drowsiness. Do not operate heavy machinery. May cause.
Yeah. May cause people to wake up and go.
May cause Chewbacca impression.
may cause impression of Norm Macdonald standing in a cold shower.
Yeah.
All right. God help us, we have another voicemail. We've got a voicemail from again the Widder women. There's two of them.
Yeah.
Again.
If it's not, it's an excellent job of throwing voices.
Yeah. By the way, we've had people contact us thinking this is us. It's not us.
It's really
We're
not
the
us.
Widder women.
It's the major thing I want to disclaim before, and I'll do it again after. Mm-hmm. This is not us. We have no idea what's happening either.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. I'll admit, last week's made me laugh. This one didn't.
Yeah,
this one I just didn't know what to do with it.
I'm not sure what's going on anymore. I'm kind of. It's a matter of like letting them control that narrative, and let's see where it happens. But
yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. So here now for your listening enjoyment.
For your listening, at least.
Yeah, for your listening. Once again on a party line, evidently, the Widder women.
Myrtle, who's that man on the party line? I don't know. I was trying to figure that out. He don't sound like when he's around here. He might be one of them mashers, you know what I mean? Well, what's a masher? Well, like Cletus that time he kind of mashed my nose. Well, he shouldn't ought to have done that. Well, I don't know why. He just kind of got repented of that, if I recall, after that judge told me better. I had to take him to church and everything. Well, I just didn't know what that man was doing on our party line like that. I wonder who he was. Probably because he couldn't push the off button right. Well, I ain't got no off button. I just got one of them phones, rotary dial. Well, I don't even got one of them. I got one you turn and you talk to Sari down there, and I tell her, give me Myrtle Manus, and then there you are on the party line. Went to the old general store, and I bought me a real long cord for mine, so I can kind of walk around the house with it. All right. Well, listen, my pals are about to run off, so I got to go to the outhouse. There's an old black widow spider out there, and I'm scared, but I got to go. Just make sure there ain't no snakes out there. Well, that'd be all right. I got you some raid to get rid of them black widows. Yeah, I'll be all right. Well, thank you. I'll see you in church. Thank you. Bye. Praise the Lord. All right, bye.
All right, and you know what? I don't actually have anything to say about it. I'm sorry.
No, I only wish to disclose again that we have no idea what's going on either.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so we're going to jump into DC TV news. if you guys aren't following us over there, because you know us, we talk about stuff, we get into stuff sometimes. So if you're looking to head out and not listen to the DCTV portion, goodbye, fare thee well. Thank you for listening. You can hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at DC on Screen. And if you want to leave us a voicemail like the Witter Women, or like Brooklyn Batman, 205-259.
If you're a human and you want to leave us a voicemail, 205-259-6331.
205-259-6331.
If you're not provably a human, this is evidence that we might play it anyway.
We probably will. No capshaw here. We don't care if you're human or not.
It's like a live Turing test. We're just going to play it and see who can tell the difference.
Mm-hmm. All right, so first thing up on the TV portion of this, they released a Batman versus Two-Face trailer. Adam West's final portrayal of the Batman. Burt Ward back. Looks like Julie Newmar's back as Catwoman. William Shatner playing the hell out of Two-Face.
Oh, man.
I was really impressed by his work. I didn't know what to do with that. I
loved it. He gets way outside of himself for Two-Face, and then he gets extremely vulnerable for Harvey. I freaking loved it.
Yeah, it looks cool. The one thing I didn't particularly enjoy about it, though, this trailer was that, Hugo Strange was there. And I don't know. I've just never really cared about the character. Never really dug him.
Never been a favorite of mine.
It looks like Harley Quinn is his assistant.
Yeah, that's going to be worth something.
Yeah. This looks good, though. It looks fun. It looks darker than the last one.
It might try to do a little bit more than the last one. It's got a good premise as far as... it's just a trailer. I'm not spoiling anything. All the evildoers are trying to overload the evil capacitor machine thing, It's got exactly the kind of goofy premise that I would expect from the original show.
Yeah. Like Hugo, like having all the villains under those, they look like old-timey heaters, like old-timey hair dryers, But he's like, it's going to extract all the evil,
Yeah, no, it's like they drew props from fried green tomatoes.
It felt like, what it just felt like to me was the beginning of Aqua Teen Hunger Force, where it was like, behold, dun, dun, dun.
I can see that. In my history of my mom being a hairdresser for a second, it just reminded me of like sitting around trying to occupy myself with a couple magazines and watching a bunch of people do fascinatingly strange things to their hair with these weird things that popped over their heads. It was familiar scenery for me.
I remember going to a hairdresser with my grandmother while she got her hair
permed
done. Yeah, when my grandmother got her shit did. And I would look at these hair dryers. I always thought of a couple of different things. One, an old episode of the Andy Griffith Show with the Fun Girls, where they were talking about how great Andy's hair always looked, and they were joking around about how the sheriff is sitting under a dryer. But the other thing I kept thinking, like this is some kind of sci-fi shit. Like if I sat down and it came down on top of my head, like it would switch my brain with like this old lady across from me or something. That's where my brain went. Yeah,
no, that sounds about right. I was doing a lot of that. I just kept looking at it thinking, what are you doing to yourself? What's going on here?
What are you doing to yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I come from a day where I remember like opening my grandmother's I'd go to the bathroom at my grandmother's house and open the closet for toilet paper or something and see like 16 cans of Aquanet.
Oh, what is Aquanet?
Aquanet is basically like aerosolized steel. You can, if you spray that at something, that's what that thing looks like for from now until you deliberately try to attack it. So, yeah, I remember watching her get, like, perms that lasted I don't know how long, and then it was like a month before she did anything else. It was a bizarre situation to me.
Yeah.
It always amounted to me thinking, what are you doing? What? There's so much time. So much time. There was a whole situation with curlers and when you could sleep with them, and then I want to say there's some like series of chemicals you're supposed to put in before you even do that to like preempt the situation, and then you get there, and then there's the perm, you go get that, and then you look boofy headed and kind of golden girly for a while, and that lasts forever. And then basically you'd put on the thing even to get in the shower, and then you'd have a thing you put on to go to sleep, and then you wake up and kind of like poof it, and then you Aquanet it, and then that's what your hair looks like now.
Yeah.
It's not like, let me wave my hand through my hair. It's like, this is the structure on top of my head.
Yeah, it makes me think of when I was a kid, whenever I'd go into the closet of any sort, or a drawer.
Yeah.
Anything I didn't immediately understand, I assumed it was for genitals.
I really did not have that assumption. Actually, growing up in my family, I assumed it was probably for hair.
Like anything, like if there was a rag misplaced, like I don't know what that rag's doing there. Someone probably washed their dick with that.
Genitals.
I don't know.
I had nothing so devious. It was just always like I would look at a new thing in the closet. I remember being like 6 or 7 or something, looking at a new thing in the closet, and going like, "Well, what does that do to hair?" Because it was such a I lived in such a weird. Everyone had a perm. And my mom worked on hair anyway. It was like that was what I thought of closets. Is like, oh, it's the closet where you store things that do things to hair, and then your hair becomes weaponized if you do too much of. Seriously, you could have taken like you could have like cut off a coif of hair, spun it in your hands, and Aquanetted it, and that is a shiv now. Aquanet was that serious.
Like, I seriously remember, like, making my mom angry. Like, she yelled at me not to touch something, and I was like, oh, what, it's for privates? She's like, no!
Where did you get that?
I don't remember what it was, but I remember more than one occasion of her going, no, it's not for privates. What's wrong with you?
I like the image of a young, aloof version of you, just going like, it's for genitals. Get it, totally. Walking away.
I seem to remember there was a time where I got a question like, do you even know what that's for? I'm like, no, privates? I didn't say genitals back then. I said, privates? No. It's for baking. What is wrong with you? Anyway, Aaron Richards talking about Barbara again.
God help us all.
She's going to be a completely different character again. She's coming back. She's going to be trained by Ra's al Ghul, and she's going to be a lot more calm and centered. Still trying to fight for power in Gotham against Penguin, but with a lot more clarity this time. She says that her character's not going to have the crazed energy she did in the past. She's going to form an alliance with Tabitha and Selina. We're going to have a bit of female power base in Gotham, which we're really excited about. They said this last year. They were going to have this female power base in Gotham they were really excited about. I feel like she has taxed that on to whatever season. But her training with Ra's al Ghul, I'll be honest, I wanted her dead.
Yeah, we've said this many times. We're not impressed with Aaron Richards. The character is not working out.
She's been more fun recently, though, to be fair.
She has definitely had her moments. I'm using Aaron Richards as a... her person as a scapegoat for this character has not been fun the entire time. Mm-hmm. It has its moments, but you've taken it. It's been like the stable family, broken family thing, and it's gone from a broken marriage to she kills her parents to complete insanity to being a cartoon almost. Which there were moments of that being fun. I just there's not. They keep trying to find some way to work with this character, and I hope it's working for other people better than it's working for me. But it's not. I have not really been interested in what they've been doing with her since day one. There's only moments where I've thought, oh, that was pretty good, actually.
Yeah. And those moments are few and far between.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, I'll always remember the episode of, like, her in the elevator with Jim while he's kind of tripping as a highlight, thinking, oh, yeah, she was actually pretty good as kind of a spirit animal, like a spirit guide, you know?
A spirit animal.
And I liked her. I liked her there, but it's just, like you said, few and far between. They haven't found a reason for me to invest in this character yet. So I guess we're going to go back and do like round 5 of...
It's round 4, isn't it?
I feel like they've reinvented her twice in the first season alone, so...
Oh, maybe, yeah. Alright, so I guess Matthew Ryan Cronin, our listener Matthew Ryan Cronin, was correct, at least thematically. Grant Gustin said, Reborn, it's almost like a fresh start for me as an actor this year. The first episode is called Reborn, and it's our take on Rebirth, and it gives me an opportunity to let go of all the weight that we've built up and have held on to, and there's even more lines that reflect that for Barry, that he's been able to cope and move on in a way he's never been able to in the past, so it gives me an opportunity to let go and have more of that kind of fun that we initially had in Season 1. So there you go. Good job, Cronin.
We're watching you.
So they also they also officially cast a character named Hazard. Sugar Lynn Beard is coming in as Rebecca Sharp. Hazard. She's a character who is like they're describing as perpetually down on her luck. But then she has a freak accident. The character in the comics can psionically manipulate probabilities. I have never been a big fan of characters who can alter luck. I just don't.
I mean, you're also going to get Domino soon.
I know.
So, hope for it. Mm-hmm. Hope for the best.
Yeah.
I always like them in theory, but when you think them through in practice, it feels really difficult.
Yeah. From, Domino to Black Cat to Hazard.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm never too interested in it.
Yeah. Now, that being said, let's give the concept some credit.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Imperioli's role in Lucifer last year.
Mm-hmm.
His ability to kind of see so many different outcomes that he could, toss a skateboard into the road or whatever. I think he just misplaced a skateboard.
Yeah, but his power was about recognizing patterns and manipulating them.
I know. But it was kind of it's almost a rephrasing of I think that technique. And at the same time, like you go back and look at somebody like Scarlet Witch, and generally she's not a complete magician. She's not a reality changer in a lot of realms. Obviously, M-Day, but she is generally traditionally just good at hexing people.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of inviting bad luck upon people.
Right.
It's a weird concept, man. It really is. I
Mm-hmm.
I understand your reluctance. It's a hard thing to define. How far can the power go? What can you affect? How far can you see ahead if you can? That kind of thing.
I don't really necessarily believe they're going to go too far with it on the Flash.
No, well, actually, my biggest fear for the Flash is that it's going to be used as like a gimmick to get through certain parts of certain episodes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, that's all I've got to say about that. I don't know. I'm not sure how much we've talked about this. I don't really remember, but Guggenheim was talking about Richard Dragon being the bad guy on Arrow this season. And he says, what I really like about our interpretation of Richard is he's very grounded. He's not a flamboyant big bad. He doesn't wear a costume. He really is a crime lord, sort of, in the Tobias Church model. For Tobias, we only really saw him for about 5 episodes, so we were excited about the prospect of doing a cool, gritty crime lord, but for a longer period of time. We've never really done that on the show before, so it's different. Which is weird to me because, Richard Dragon is not really that character in the books. If anything, most renditions of Richard Dragon he's basically Ollie Queen or Iron Fist,
Yeah.
Danny Rand type of character.
Yeah, and he's been used to train some, high-profile do-gooders, traditionally.
And he's been a do-gooder. I think probably the majority of his existence.
Yeah.
Only really 52, New 52 has really done him as like the big bad, and I don't know. I wouldn't have thought gritty crime lord even with that, but whatever. They do whatever the hell they want over on the Arrowverse.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know. New 52 is what it is. They can pull from it when they feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they have a good idea, a good plan here.
Yeah,
I'm
me
not
too.
particularly excited about it, but I want to have hope.
I have hope about this. Guggenheim said that Jessica DeGao has expressed an absolute willingness to come back to Arrow. He says, Jessica's a favorite actor of mine, and the Huntress is a favorite character of mine. I want to make it happen in season 6. We've got some plans for her for the later half of the year that I think she will fit into really well. So we'll see. That's not a definite yes, but I've been wanting the Huntress to come back since season 2.
Yeah, yeah. She had legs. She had real legs. They could have made a lot out of that character. I mean, imagine the conversations somebody like her could have had with somebody like Oliver going through what he's gone through the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I if I'm understanding or if I'm guessing correctly about where his head's at, like the idea that she comes in the second half of the season this year, where we're talking about Oliver going into having to be a parent, having to deal with a broken team. Because like last year was kind of like, let's rebuild the team and we're going to try it a different way.
Yeah.
But him having to deal with the consequences of his actions over the last 10 years seems like Helena would be that's a good dinner. I want to hear every piece of it.
Yeah. I'd be happy to see her return.
Yeah.
But you know who I wouldn't be happy to see return? It's freaking John Barrowman.
I'll take him in flashbacks. I'll take him in flashbacks, obviously. But
yeah,
that dude died.
Mark
People need to be able to die.
Mark Guggenheim answered a question about, whether or not he'll come back, and he says, that's up to John. We told John when we called him to tell him about the events of the finale, every single person on all the shows has come back in some shape or form. We've got flashbacks, we've got time travel, we've got parallel universes. I would be down for that one, actually. Parallel universes. He says, goodbye is never goodbye. He has an open invitation to return on the show anytime he wants. Then they asked John Barrowman about it, and John Barrowman said this: I am surprised and very happy to hear Mark Guggenheim's comments about Merlyn's future in the Arrowverse, because in a very decisive phone conversation we had with Wendy Miracle, I was led to believe that there were no plans to bring Merlyn back. If they change their mind, awesome. I have loved playing Malcolm Merlyn, and was so disappointed to be told the news of his death, and to no longer be part of a fantastic team and show. If they want me back, they just have to ask. The ball is back in their court. Write Merlyn an amazing storyline, and I will be there.
That's amazing.
This feels like, I don't want to point a finger, but I feel like Mark Guggenheim is lying.
He has done that to us before.
Oh,
he has a maniacal tendency towards him sometimes. Also, even if he had it in the back of his head that we can bring you back if we want to, is it as simple as he told Barrowman, "You're dying, you're for real dying. Do the scene that way," and then now Barrowman's learning about it afterward, like, oh, I might actually come back. Maybe he just was going for a performance,
Yeah, I don't know. I do not know.
Who are we to know such things in the land of liars and cheats? And producers.
And producers. Oh, man. I think that's all I've got. That's all I've got on the news.
It happens sometimes that we do run out of news.
Yeah. There's other stuff. Katie Cassidy wants to fight White Canary.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Stuff like that's been going on for a while. There's a lot of and we left this out of our news format when we were doing it as a news show, of actors want to do this, and we just kind of, it's not news that that an actor wants to do something. I mean, every now and then you'd run across something. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't completely pushed to the side. We always looked at it, but a lot of it was just people in an interview talking about what would you like the character to do, and for all you knew, there were 14 people in the writer's room going, oh, that's never going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And another 4 to 6 producers going, yeah, not in the cards.
Right. I would love to see the writer's room, like, the day after the news breaks, or the day the news breaks. I forget it's the internet now. You can have those reactions in real time, probably.
Oh, yeah. No, you can...
Where the writers are just sitting around going like, Amel's talking about the stupid supernatural crossover again. Why? There's no supernatural crossover.
Right. Yeah. None of that's,
none of
that's on the books.
He's really into it.
I know. I don't even understand how he's had time to watch 37 seasons of Supernatural.
Is that the number
I think they're filming the 38th right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. When did they pass The Simpsons as the longest running? They had to have had a couple of seasons in between.
I may be misremembering, but I think they passed The Simpsons as longest running show relatively 42 years ago.
Oh, okay. All right. So only 32 years before God created the universe.
Yeah, that's about right.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is not a known fact, but there was actually like I'm glad you brought this up. There was a supernova.
Yeah.
In our galaxy. It was in the Milky Way galaxy, but it was a few systems away. Mm-hmm. And when it expelled itself, it actually met a quasar. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know how that exactly interacted, but somehow that ended up with this hyper speed beam that met us, and what we got was supernatural.
Okay.
So yes, it is timeless. It has always been. It will always be, and it is absolutely now. Definitely here. So
okay.
It's like I feel like supernatural is going to be part of geological studies at some point. Mm-hmm. It's going to be like, well, there was this era, there's this area, this turned into quartz, there was supernatural, and then this turned into diamond.
Yeah. They did what with Crowley? Huh.
That was some bullshit during that era. But could you not see at some point, like it shows like South Park and Supernatural is even coming up on its heels, and definitely the Simpsons. Could you not see some version of the future where like there's a reconfiguration, like we have a survival level event, and everything has to reboot to some extent, and some parts survive and some don't. Yeah. Or we have an alien interaction event. I don't know, man. I mean, we're talking pure sci-fi here, but some kind of event in which we're talking about, during the Simpsons epoch. These things were very popular.
Like The Simpsons, South Park, Supernatural. Yeah. All these really long-running situations, all these long-running television series, they become the Iliad and the Odyssey. Homeric tales of bravery and virtue.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, this is, we live in it. Me and you live a lot of times in a comic book world, and I'm a full-grown man, and every now and then I'll sense some derision that I read comic books. And I love pointing out that it's one of the true American art forms that we've actually been able to export. Yeah. We've got jazz, blues, stand-up comedy. We've got a couple things that were American contributions to culture, and comic books is way up there. Plus, in terms of like gross domestic product, like comic book industry contributes billions of dollars every year to what America's actually earning. It's a legitimate industry.
It is, absolutely.
And then people make fun of you for, enjoying, I guess, some stories with some people in tights, and you gotta look past that.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't been made fun of that, but I haven't been made fun of for that in a really long time.
It comes up here and there, but
does it?
Yeah, actually.
For you? Yeah. I mean, it doesn't for me. I don't know why. Like, I got a lot of that in college, but now all those assholes are wearing Superman shirts.
Right. They've all been kind of converted in their way.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, we're going to see Iron Man. I'm like, screw you. I hate all of you. You're all a bunch of hypocrites.
No, it's almost like my personal PSA is like, no, this is a legitimate industry that you're contributing to. that, for our country in particular, it is pretty important. It actually is a percentage of what we earn as a country.
Yeah.
Dig in, man. Don't be ashamed. And in terms of folklore, it's I think very important, extremely important. Like it's not to me coincidental in any way that it takes from like Norse and Greek mythology at times.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're dealing with our generations, and there should be a bigger term for that. It's a couple of 100 years, give or take us, like our generation's version of mythology. I'm always stricken by the fact that there's a Friedrich Nietzsche's version of the Uberman, and then that's a little bit what was adopted for Superman. Like that, this all makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, rant over.
I wanted to keep yes-anding you, but I had nothing else. I was like, all right, yeah.
That's all I've got too. The point is roughly, be proud, man. It's the new thing.
Kind of. I mean, it's been around for a really long time.
Yeah, it definitely is.
I saw a funny meme. That was I don't know, Wonder Woman deflecting bullets, and then like the last shot is like Quicksilver from Age of Ultron laying laying on the ground dying.
Yep.
That was funny.
Yeah, I like that.
Anyway, yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all we've got.
Yeah, we'll call it.
All right, DC on Screen for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, 205-259-6331 if you want to leave us a voicemail. And thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week. Until then, keep some DC on your screen. I forgot our tagline for a second.
Forgive him. It's been a very transitional time.
Transitional. I'm going to go watch Rick and Morty.
I'm going to do that too. But I suggest you end the entire thing on just you squeaking by the word transitional. You said it like it was your precious.
Yeah. All right.